Hey folks, it is I, Mark Major, and this is the Action Figuratorium. Now, I am a big fan of Indiana Jones. When I was 9 years old, my dad took me to see Raiders of the Lost Ark at the local cinema, and I absolutely loved it. And I loved it so much that when the movie finished its run at our local movie theater, my dad was able to obtain for me the movie poster from the lobby. That is how much I really enjoyed the flick. So, of course, I do have a plethora of Indiana Jones action figures. But today, what I'm going to be doing is looking at 4 brand new Indiana Jones action figures in the 1/12 scale that are available for pre-order at this point. And of course, I'm going to tell you guys which is the best one to get. So stick around. So we are going to go from cheapest to most expensive, and we're going to look at the different offerings. I've got a few comments to make here and there along the way. I hope that you guys will see what I'm talking about and realize it's not just barking up a tree. So here we go with our first offering. This is from Hasbro. These are on pre-order and they should be shipping pretty soon. Remember, they've got this new Indiana Jones movie out and they need to get the toys out. This guy clocks in around 25 bucks. This is it on the Big Bad Toy Store website where it says sold out, but I know that you can find these guys elsewhere on like Entertainment Earth as well as some other online toy stores. Plus, it's Hasbro. They're cheap relative to the other toys we're going to look at. That means they've made a lot of them. They're going to be everywhere. There is no fear of missing out on these guys whatsoever. And I think everybody should take it down a notch. If you think that this is going to be something that you're going to miss out on, you will not. You'll be able to find multiples of these, no problem. Now, when I look at this guy, I'm reminded of the figures that Hasbro made for Indiana Jones in 2008 when the Crystal Skull came out. They did some Crystal Skull figures, but they also reintroduced some of the Indiana Jones action figures from the previous movies. And they gave them kind of an updated sculpt and look from the original Kenner Indiana Jones toys. And to me, this looks like those 2008 Hasbro figures, but blimped up to the 1/12 scale. And they don't look particularly bad. Remember that like the jacket on this guy is a piece of vinyl that just is actually a vest, and then the arms are colored brown so as to make it look like a jacket. He doesn't have a full jacket on, that kind of thing. Things like the whip and the pistol, I'm not sure how screen accurate these things are, but I also don't really care. Some people are really into that, and if you're into that, that's fine. You're allowed to be into anything you want. For me, I'm a bit casual. It just needs to be Indiana Jones. So this guy overall looks pretty good, but he doesn't look great. And when I say doesn't look great, it's because of the molded pants and jacket, and when you put him into different poses, he makes some kind of weird sort of shapes to the figure. He looks a little bit awkward, but overall for 25 bucks suggested retail, that's not too bad, and I get the feeling that you'll be able to find these guys for much cheaper, and if you're okay with buying loose, even cheaper than that. Okay, let's move on to our second offering of 1/12 scale 6-inch action figures. This is from a company called Figma, which is actually a sub-brand of the Good Smile company. You should check them out sometime. They are an interesting sort of manufacturer of weird toys. And look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's got kind of that dragnet look to the face. If you don't know what that is, that was a cop show in the 60s where it was basically like what happens when the beatniks from the 50s become cops in the 60s. That's the way I look at it. And you can see he looks a bit like the Hasbro one with the molded pants, but I gotta say overall that he just looks a little better detail. The face does look weird, but here's the thing about this guy. Very few people out there are probably going to have one of these. And so if you're into action figure photography on the Instagram and you bust this guy out, most people are not going to know what it is. They're going to be like trying to figure out who it is you have and where you got it. And so as a type of a red herring action figure where people don't know, they think it's a custom or something, they won't be able to find where this guy came from. So it's worth it kind of for that. You can see that it says sold out $50. I know for a fact that you can find these guys on eBay for a little bit more than that, but you can find them. They're not exactly dried up per se. Let's move on to our third offering. This is from the Bandai companies. Anybody remember them? This is one of their lines called SH Figuarts. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with them, Figuarts does all of the Kamen Rider guys. That's one of these dudes. It's basically this really kind of funky Japanese TV show that's been around for like 40 years. It's kind of like their version of Doctor Who, where it's really sort of the same character for a few seasons and then they reboot the look of the guy, they bring in some new actors, that kind of thing, but it's still essentially the same show. And if you're a toy collector out there and you have some of these guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that the engineering and manufacture of these makes for an amazing action figure. These are super posable, and I would love to just get even more of them, even if they have the weird kind of bug-eyed helmet look. These figures move and play amazing. And so if Figuarts has an Indiana Jones action figure, I guarantee that as far as the posability goes and the overall look, it's going to be amazing too. You can see that this guy has some different options where you can take the jacket off, something the other two guys didn't do. You can take off the hat, the pouch, right, the whip, the pistol. Comes with a couple of different head sculpts, some different hands, things like that. All the right accessories. He still has the molded clothes, but I think this guy is going to be the real deal as far as posability goes. Now let's move on to our heavy. This is from Mezco. Does anybody remember Mezco? I know I do. I'm kind of a fan of the Gomez action figure. In fact, I've got a couple of Roach with the golden heads right here ready to go on some figures. Now this cat is part of their 1/12 collection, and for those of you that are unfamiliar with that, essentially what it is Mezco takes a buck, that is to say a blank generic human body. They stick a different head on it, like a Gomez or a, Atticus Doom or whatever, and then they throw some soft goods on it. So it's kind of like a 6-inch Ken doll or like a Barbie doll, where you get sort of a generic doll and some clothes and a head for it. And there are some super fans who love these guys because their bodies are really well made and they're very posable. In fact, if you go check out the YouTube channel of a cat by the name of D Amazing, you'll see that he does a lot of toy photography and reviews of Mezco figures, and he gets them in some of the absolute coolest poses I've ever seen. I'm always inspired by his photos. He always makes me want to pick up the camera and try something myself. I recommend you check him out and you check out some of his reviews of Mezco guys, and I think you can see why people are going to be into this particular Indiana Jones. Keeps flipping this photo up on me, and you can see that he comes with all the particularly right looking soft goods. That is the pants, the jacket, the shirt, the hat. It all looks really good. I know that I've got a 1/6 scale Indiana Jones that comes with soft goods, and they always look very realistic on camera when you've got them, so that's one of the reasons why people like this level of detail. Now, if you are like me, you've probably noticed that the head sculpt on this guy doesn't look too much like Harrison Ford, and in fact he looks a bit more like Chris Pratt. And I have a theory based upon the fact that a few years ago there were rumors going around that Chris Pratt was going to be the new Indiana Jones. That is, Lucasfilm Disney was going to reboot the series with him as the star, as the lead. As you know, he did really well in those Jurassic Park videos, and so Guardians of the Galaxy, etc. And so I think that maybe, just maybe, they tried to get ahead of the curve and they made an action figure face that looks kind of like him, and this is sort of it, and they sort of shipped it. I don't know. Hard to say, but if you want to use that joke, feel free. If you get a laugh, please give me a credit. If nobody likes it, you can claim it as your own. And I just want to say that this guy looks pretty good, but for $130, I really think that you could go to eBay and you could kit bash something that looks actually better. I know that you could go there and you can get head sculpts, you can get blank bodies, no problem, and you can also pick up the soft goods. However, a lot of people probably just want to pay the money and be done. Also, if you do buy this thing for $130 and you keep it for a while, you'll probably make your money back. You probably make money on it. You can probably take it out and play with it for a couple years and resell it and make money on it. So you're probably not going to lose money on something like this unless you break it. And I'm the kind of guy that would probably break it. So that is my look at the 4 Indiana Jones figures you can get in the 1/12 scale that are currently out on pre-order right now. Most of these are going to be shipping soon, if not sometime at the end of this month, the next couple months. So you should see all of these figures in people's hands, and you'll see some of the crazy poses people come up with. I just want to clue you guys in on one last thing. I have a series on Instagram, a photo series called Loot Robbers, in which I take a 3.75 Indiana Jones and I pair it with a 3.75 sort of Laura Croft, and they go out on their own wacky adventures. They're kind of like an odd couple, you know, that sort of thing. There's like a tall guy and a short guy, or you know, there's a smart guy, a stupid guy, that kind of thing. And so it's an old crotchety man and a young upstart girl. And I noticed after doing this series for a while, like here they are versus the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Here they are coming out of the ground and they're stealing some sort of antiquated treasure. Here they are cruising around on a G.I. Joe Dreadnought trike that I happen to have sitting around. I noticed that that the latest Indiana Jones film has a premise not too dissimilar to my premise, and you know, just makes me kind of wonder what's going on. So thank you to everybody that made it this far into the video. Subscribe as always if you can. Give a like as needed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.